All right, so are tech certifications actually worth it in 2024?
Hmm.
I mean, it feels like everyone's got an opinion on this, and the tech world is changing so fast, it's hard to know what employers actually care about these days.
Yeah, you're right.
So we're diving into a really interesting article today all about Algo Academy's role in this whole shifting landscape of tech education.
Oh, cool.
And I think some of the insights here might surprise you.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to dive in.
So this article doesn't really give us a simple yes or no answer about
All
certifications.
right.
It actually points out how the whole idea of tech cred is basically transforming right in front of us.
Yeah, it's true. Like, it's not just about passing a test anymore, is it?
No, not at all.
Like, the whole game has changed.
Yeah.
The tech landscape changes so rapidly that even if you have a recent certification,
Uh,
it might be out of date by the time you're done studying.
oh gosh, that's got to be so demoralizing.
It is.
Imagine you spend months like prepping for an exam only to find out that the technology you just mastered is already considered old news.
Legacy.
Might see, yeah.
It happens more often than you think, and it makes you think.
Yeah.
In a field like tech, where things are constantly changing,
Right.
the ability to just learn and adapt,
Yeah.
that's probably more valuable than having any sort of like static credential.
So certifications may not be the end-all be-all, but they're still a big part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
So this article lays out some pros and cons of getting certified. So let's start with the good stuff.
Okay.
What are some of the upsides of getting certified?
Well, one of the biggest, I would say, is validation.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's like a signal to employers when you have a certification.
Uh-huh.
It's like a seal of approval.
Yeah.
Says, hey, I've been vetted by, some organization and I meet a certain standard.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be really helpful, especially if you're just starting out in your career and you don't have a ton of experience yet.
Yeah, it's almost like a stamp of approval, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Especially in a field where trust and credibility are so important.
exactly. And for some employers, certifications are actually still a key factor when they're thinking about promotions,
Oh, wow.
salary increases. It
Okay.
shows commitment to professional development,
That makes sense.
a willingness to go, above and beyond.
So there's definitely value there.
For sure.
But let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
Certifications can be a huge investment.
They are.
Not just time, but also money.
Yeah.
This article talks about cost as being like a major drawback.
Absolutely.
Some of these certifications can cost hundreds, even thousands of dollars,
It's true.
especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah, that can be a real barrier.
Yeah, I remember saving up for months to afford my first certification exam.
Oh, wow.
It's a real commitment.
Yeah.
On top of the cost, there's the time commitment.
Huge.
You're talking about months, potentially, of dedicated study time.
Right. And that's time that you could be spending building real projects,
Right.
gaining practical experience.
Yeah, and that brings up, I think, a crucial point that this article really emphasizes,
Okay.
which is this growing importance of being able to show that you have skills
Yes.
rather than just saying that you have theoretical knowledge.
Demonstrating them.
Yes,
It's not just claiming them.
So it's not just it's what you can actually do with that knowledge.
Yeah,
I'm sensing a theme here.
I think so. And it's fascinating because this shift isn't just about employers, valuing practical skills more.
Okay.
It's reflected in the way that people are actually acquiring and showcasing these skills.
Okay, so the article talks about coding boot camps,
Mm-hmm.
online learning platforms, self-study. Like,
Yep.
how are those connected?
Well, they all represent a move away from just like claiming you have the skills
Oh, okay.
and toward actually demonstrating them.
I see.
So it's like the difference between saying, I have a certificate in web development
Uh-huh.
and saying, hey, check out this amazing website that I built.
So it's like having a portfolio of real-world projects that speak for themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, I can definitely see how that would be more impactful than just a piece of paper.
Yeah, like imagine you were an employer.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be more impressed by the candidate with the certificate
Right.
or the one that can show you a working app that they actually built?
That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes you wonder, where do certifications even fit into this new landscape?
Yeah.
Are they becoming obsolete?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
And that's where Algo Academy comes in.
Okay.
The article highlights them as a platform that's bridging this gap
Okay.
between this theoretical knowledge and practical application.
I've heard a lot about Algo Academy, but
Yeah.
I'm curious what makes it stand out.
Well, one of the things is they really focus on this idea of algorithmic thinking,
Okay.
which is something that employers are really looking for these days,
Mm.
but it's often not really emphasized in like traditional certification programs.
Okay, so break that down for me.
Or-
Well, what exactly is algorithmic thinking? It sounds kind of technical.
It is, but it's also incredibly valuable.
Okay.
So basically, it's about approaching problems
hmm
like a computer scientist would.
Okay.
You break them down into steps.
Uh-huh.
You're thinking about efficiency.
Yeah.
You're finding like the most elegant solutions.
So it's about the logic and the strategy
Yeah,
behind the code,
exactly.
not just the code itself.
It's not just can you code, it's
Yeah.
can you code smart.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this article actually gives a code example
Right.
to illustrate this point.
Mhm.
So it walks through a problem
Okay.
where you need to find two numbers in an array that add up to a target sum.
Right. It's a classic algorithmic problem.
Okay.
And the way that they solve it
Mm-hmm.
really highlights the difference between just writing any code
Mm-hmm.
and actually thinking algorithmically.
I'm not a coder myself, but I'm always fascinated by these kinds of problems.
Oh, yeah, they're fun.
Can you walk us through it without getting too technical? Like, what's the big takeaway there?
So the big takeaway is that it's not just about like writing code that solves the problem.
Okay.
It's about finding the most efficient and elegant solution.
Okay.
So in this case, they use something called like a two-pointer technique,
Okay.
which lets you find the answer without having to check every single possible combination of numbers.
So it's about being clever and strategic
Yeah,
in your approach.
totally.
I can see how that would be a really valuable skill,
Mm,
like in all sorts of tech roles.
for sure. And that's really what Algo Academy is all about.
Okay.
It's about giving learners the tools and the mindset to really thrive in this ever-changing landscape.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about passing an exam.
Right.
It's about preparing people for like the real world,
Yeah.
the challenges they're going to face on the job.
So it sounds like they're really focused on the practical application of skills,
Absolutely.
which, as we've been talking about, seems to be where the whole tech world is headed.
It's the future. And that brings us to another key point that the article delves into.
Okay.
Like, what does proof of skills look like in the coming years?
Oh, yeah.
What are the trends to watch out for?
Ooh, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Stay tuned, folks,
Yeah.
because in part 2, we're going to be diving into the article's predictions about the future of tech education and credentialing, and things are going to get really interesting.
I'm ready.
I think you're going to like this.
Okay.
So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our deep dive into tech certifications and, figuring out what they really mean in 2024.
Hmm.
So in the first part, we talked about how the tech world is just changing at like lightning speed,
Yeah, it's crazy.
to the point that even recent certifications can be kind of outdated quickly.
Definitely a challenge.
But it's not all bad news, right? Like, certifications can still be valuable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They can offer, validation. They can give you a boost in your career, but they also come with costs and a pretty big time commitment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the big question is, how do you build a strong tech skill set in this new world?
Right. Like, how do you actually stand out?
Yeah. What steps can you take now?
Well, luckily, this article gives us some solid advice.
Oh, good.
It doesn't just, leave us hanging with a bunch of like vague predictions.
Yeah, I hate that.
So the article doesn't say certifications are useless,
Okay.
but it does really emphasize that they're just one piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like certifications are dead.
Right.
It's more like certifications are part of a bigger picture.
Yeah, I like that.
So how do we actually put this into practice? What's the first step?
Well, the article really stresses starting with a clear understanding of your goals.
Okay.
Like, what do you want to achieve in your tech career? What kind of roles are you interested in?
Yeah.
What specific skills are actually in demand for those roles?
So before you even think about certifications,
Yeah.
you need to have some kind of vision
Yes.
for where you want to go.
Exactly like planning a trip.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just start driving without knowing your destination.
That's a good analogy.
Right.
So once you have that roadmap figured out,
Mm-hmm.
what's next? So the article talks a lot about practical skills,
Yes.
but how do we go beyond just knowing the theory?
Right.
How do we actually build those skills?
Well, that's where this show don't tell idea comes in.
Okay.
The article really hammers home this idea
Mm-hmm.
that employers want to see what you can do.
Like proof.
They want evidence.
So what are some ways to do that?
Sure.
I mean, I'm thinking coding boot camps,
Yes.
contributing to open source projects.
Those are great options, and there are so many resources out there.
Yeah.
Learning by doing,
Okay.
online platforms like Algo Academy, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
They offer hands-on coding challenges,
Right.
real-world projects where you can actually put your skills to the test.
And that's what I love about Elg Academy. It's not just about memorizing syntax or something.
Right.
It's about problem solving. It's about thinking creatively,
Yeah.
developing that like algorithmic thinking that we were talking about.
It's so important. And the great thing is those skills are transferable.
Oh, that's a good point.
So even if a specific technology becomes outdated,
Yeah.
those problem-solving skills are always going to be valuable.
Okay, so we're building practical skills. We're working on real projects.
Yes.
What else can we do to create that like super impressive tech skill set?
I think you know what I'm going to say.
You're going to say build a portfolio.
Build a portfolio.
It's like a digital showcase of your skills,
Exactly.
your experience.
It tells your story as a tech professional,
Okay.
shows your passion.
So it's like a visual resume, but way more engaging.
Way more engaging, and it goes beyond just like listing your skills and certifications.
Okay.
It's about showcasing your process,
Okay.
the way you solve problems, your creativity.
Yeah.
You can include personal projects,
Yes.
contributions to open source, even write-ups that explain how you approach tough technical problems.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about what you've done, but like how you think,
Yes.
how you approach challenges.
Employers want to see that you can think critically, creatively.
Yeah. And don't underestimate the power of storytelling, right?
It's huge.
A good portfolio can not only showcase your skills,
Yeah.
but also convey your personality,
Right.
your passion.
Make yourselves memorable.
Yeah, I like that. Make yourself memorable.
And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect from day one.
Oh, it's a good point.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
It grows with you as you learn and gain experience.
So the key is to just start building it
Yeah, start now.
and then just keep refining it as you go.
Yeah, refining it. Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about goals, building skills,
Yeah.
creating a portfolio.
Mm.
It's starting to feel like a pretty solid roadmap
It is.
for navigating this new world of tech credentials. So is there anything else we should be thinking about?
There's one more crucial element that we can't forget about.
Ooh.
It goes hand in hand with all of this, you know,
Okay.
building your skills, building your portfolio,
Mm.
and it's all about,
Welcome back. You know, we've been talking about tech certifications all episode and figuring out, you know, how to build a really awesome tech skill set in 2024.
it's a journey.
Yeah, we talked about setting clear goals,
Yep.
developing practical skills, creating that killer portfolio.
It's all important.
But there's one more thing.
There is.
One more crucial element.
You can have amazing skills, a beautiful portfolio.
Okay.
But without this last piece, you might be missing out.
Ooh. Okay, so what is it? What's the secret ingredient here?
It's networking.
Networking.
Right.
Really?
I know.
It makes me think of like awkward small talk
Yeah.
and business cards and stuff.
Yeah, no,
Not my favorite thing.
it doesn't have to be like that.
Okay.
Think of it as building real connections with people in your field.
So it's about relationships,
Yes.
not just contacts.
Exactly. And in tech these days, it's more important than ever.
How come?
What's how you stay up to date on what's happening.
Makes sense.
You learn from other people's experiences. It opens doors to new opportunities.
So for those of us who maybe aren't like natural social butterflies,
Yeah.
how do we get better at networking?
Well, first, don't overthink it.
Okay.
Start by engaging with people online.
Oh, okay.
You know, join LinkedIn groups, participate in Twitter chats,
Yeah.
comment on blog posts, contribute to open source projects.
So just be a part of the conversation online.
Exactly. It's low pressure,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and you can connect with like-minded folks,
Right.
share your knowledge,
Okay, so then what?
then take it offline,
Okay.
you know, go to events, meetups,
Yeah.
local tech communities.
So many options.
It's amazing how many opportunities are out there.
Yeah, and it's not just about what you can get out of it, right?
Right. It's about giving back.
Yeah. Sharing your own expertise, helping others, supporting people in their journeys.
Absolutely. Networking is a two-way street.
I like that.
Be generous.
Yeah.
Share what you know.
Yeah.
Offer help when you can.
Yeah.
And be genuinely interested in what other people are doing.
That makes sense.
You'll find that the more you give,
Yeah.
the more you get back.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire.
Oh, okay.
You know, send a nice email.
Yeah.
Connect on LinkedIn. Let them know you appreciate their work.
Right.
Ask a question you're curious about.
Okay.
People are more receptive than you might think.
So be brave, be authentic, put yourself out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And remember, building a strong network takes time.
It does. It takes effort.
You got to nurture those relationships.
Stay in touch.
Be a part of the community.
Be a valuable member of the community.
So it sounds like the magic formula here is a combination of practical skills, a great portfolio, and that strong network.
I think you nailed it.
All right. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about the ups and downs of tech certifications, debunked some myths, hopefully giving you some real strategies to build a successful tech career in 2024 and beyond.
It's all about continuous learning,
Yeah.
adaptability, building those connections.
Those are the keys.
They're always going to be relevant.
To embrace the challenge.
Yes.
Stay curious.
Never stop learning.
And most importantly, have fun along the way.
Have fun.
That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep.